Hey there, YouTube and Wooper Club fans. It's me, Fruit Taco, coach of the Route 1 Burbs, back again, this time with my cat, to bring you a feature match from Week 3 of the Wooper Club League's 11th season. A lot of crazy turns happen in this battle between the Lorain Lairon, who are coached by Dashdude, and the Wooper Troopers, who are coached by Samantha. The Troopers are looking to go 3-0 after shutting me down hard just days earlier, while the Lairon are hoping to finally put together a win with their monster of a draft. So let's see, how do these two teams match up? You know, I'd say that speed is on the side of the Lairon here, with that blistering 142 base speed Dragapult, who, with just Dragon Ghost and Electric coverage, can smack basically everything on the other side. Archeops and Ninetales also outspeed and threaten the scary Galarian Zapdos and Dragonite, not to say anything of Slush Rush Arctozolt, who even outspeeds +1 Dragonite and Hail. The Troopers' Lycanroc looks like it's going to be absolutely key here, outspeeding everything but the Dragapult, and with just basic coverage, it goes to town on just about all of its opponents, as well as having that powerful priority Accelerock to hit the Slush Rush users even in the Hail. The Troopers' go-to pieces of Celesteela, Toxapex, and Dragonite all have some bad matchups here, notably against the hard-hitting Arctozolt and Nidoking, as well as Ninetales Freeze Dry. They've just been so reliable for the Troopers, though. 4 kills for Pex and 5 for Deanite already, that I'd expect them to still put in some work here. But I have to give the edge in the matchup to the Lairon. Let's see, how did each of the coaches choose to tackle this matchup, though? Dashdude is going all in on the Slush Rush here, with Icy Rock Ninetales enabling Life Orb mixed Arctozolt, as well as the Banded Beartic here. We see Nidoking come with plenty of coverage, although, interestingly, we have Fire Blast to hit the Celesteela harder instead of the Ice Beam that I would have expected for Dragonite and Claydol. Celesteela is definitely on Dashdude's mind, as he said he brought a more utility Dragapult set to try and mess with it, which we see to be running a fun Thunderwave Hex set. Defensive Registeel rounds out the team, adding some bulk and useful resists. Moving on to the Troopers, though, they definitely did their homework and came prepared. Slush Rush was big on their mind, as Scarfed Gengar is going to outspeed everything even in the Hail, and Dragonite and Lycanroc are both bringing powerful priority moves as well. Shout out to the goggles on Dragonite to prevent Hail from breaking Multiscale, and I really like the tech on Lycanroc this week, with Psychic Fangs to break Aurora Veil and Sucker Punch to smack Dragapult. With the Choice Band, actually Accelerock does 70 to 80% of the Ice types, and Sucker Punch is a roll to one-shot no-bulk Dragapult. Claydol comes to set up rocks to throw those calcs into Oko territory, noting the relative lack of removal that the Lairon have, as well as deal with Melmetal a bit better than the counter-weather-setting Gigalith the Troopers had previously been considering would have. Slap some general bulk on Celesteela and Toxapex to stall and wear down the Lairon, and you can see the Troopers mean business. Well, how will that plan work, though? Let's find out. Some nice breaks here for both teams as they see what each other brought. No Raikou means that Claydol and a full health Dragonite are the only Pokemon that can really take a Bolt Beak. Arctozolt's absolutely incredible here, with Bolt Beak Okoing Celesteela and Toxapex even outside of Hail, and it two-shots Dragonite through Multiscale while still doing a minimum of 80% to anything else that isn't Claydol. And in Hail, it's only outsped by the Scarfed Gengar, who needs to land Focus Blast to one-shot it. For the other side, though, there's no Melmetal here, which is a big secondary threat that the Troopers won't have to deal with, but bigger still is that the Lairon didn't bring any of their Pokemon with any access to removal, so Stealth Rocks are going to go up and stay up and just be absolutely amazing here, with not much to get in the way of the Troopers' plans to counter the Hail. Time to see how this all played out. We're going to see the leads Registeel and Claydol hit the field. Makes sense. Samantha knows how good rocks are, so I'm not surprised her to set them up as soon as possible. And, you know, Registeel here could set up its own rocks, which would be nice to chip the walls, and unknown to the Lairon, it's going to break Dragonite's Multiscale too, as it doesn't have boots this week. Turn 1, we are going to see that both players set up their rocks. Claydol's then going to spend Reggie's rocks away, and Registeel's just going to land a Toxic to start chipping it down. Earth Power from the Claydol does about a quarter to Registeel as it sets rocks right back up. Claydol's going to spin again, getting rid of the rocks, and look how fast it's getting. Seismitoss is going to take a nice chunk out of it, with the Toxic starting to rack up and bringing it under half. Claydol switches to Celesteela here, who can outstall the Registeel, as Dashdude sets up rocks for a third time. Now Ninetales is going to come out for the Registeel to set up Hail as Celesteela goes for a Leech Seed and begins its stalling. Ninetales switches right out into the Arctozolt, who takes big rocks damage and then eats a flamethrower, bringing it down to just 15%. I guess Dashdude was expecting either a Protect or a Steel move that Arctozolt would take okay, but with Lycanroc on the other side, you know that it has Accelerock, so risking taking damage here was a pretty big risk. I think I'd rather have seen an Aurora Veil or maybe Nidoking come out here if you really feared the Steel move. Great play from Samantha, though, recognizing that there's no need to go for the Protect here, as Celesteela takes any attack here easily, and that Flamethrower was good damage on everything except Dragapult. I can't overstate how good a turn this was for the Troopers, who have basically taken care of what was by far the biggest threat here only 7 turns in, as Arctozolt's going to die to rocks if it switches out, and it only has 2 Life Orb attacks left in it. Protect here from the Celesteela is going to scout the incoming Bolt Beak, which is going to OHKO anything that's not a Claydol after rocks. But Dashdude knows that, and as the Claydol switches in, he's going to go for Blizzard, which is going to KO the Claydol, but bring down Arctozolt to 5%. Great prediction there. Of course, Lycanroc is here with priority, which will easily take care of the Arctozolt, who really only managed to take down the Claydol, who already done its jobs to just set rocks. Registeel is going to come in here, which seems a little risky. We don't know that Lycanroc is choiced yet. An Adamant Expert Built Close Combat would do 60 to 72%, while this Regiset doesn't have Body Press or Iron Head or really anything to KO the Lycanroc back with. Does have Protect, though, to scout the Close Combat, and, you know, it can probably bluff having a way to KO the Lycanroc anyway, I guess. We know that the Lycanroc is banded and locked into Accelerock, so it's going to switch out, and Celesteela is going to come in to eat a Seismic Toss. Here we see Registeel go for the Protect to scout and get some lefties recover, as we see Celesteela's favorite Leech Seed come out again. Leech Seed from Celesteela again, and it lands. Seismic Toss is going to do 25% to it, but after Seed and lefties recover, only about 8% of that damage is going to stick around. Maybe expecting the Protect, Dashdude switches into Nidoking, who will go down to 57% after Rocks and Flamethrower gets the unfortunate 10% burn chance. Celesteela scouts the incoming move, which is Fire Blast, which would have been a roll to KO here, actually. And, you know, this might be why Dashdude was running Fire Blast in the first place, as it baits in the Toxapex, which takes a massive 78% from an Earth Power. It's an absolute great play and great plan by Dashdude here. Real good stuff. Baneful Bunker will scout the incoming move, which will be Thunderbolt, and Nidoking's going to go down to 39% after the burn chip. Toxapex switches out, with Regenerator bringing it back above half, and goes into Dragonite, who after Rocks and T-Bolt goes down to 32%. Dragonite's just going to go down to another Thunderbolt here, and to be honest, I'm kind of wondering what Samantha clicked here, as Extreme Speed would have just KO'd the Nidoking. Maybe she overpredicted and thought Dashdude would go into Dragapult to take the E-Speed and went for a Dragon Dance to outspeed it. Whatever the reason, Gengar is out now, and I'd say it's in a pretty good position. Dashdude decides to save the Nidoking, and instead is going to sack the Ninetales here to a free Shadow Ball from the Gengar. Now, coming out, Beartic is going to get its own turn in the Hail. Scarf Gengar is faster but can't kill with Shadow Ball, so Celesteela comes out and is hit by Throat Chop, which will hit everything left on Samantha's side. Protect is going to stall a turn of Hail, as the Throat Chop is going to come out and do significant damage to anything on the next turn. Celesteela is out and Toxapex is back in, who is just barely out of range of Throat Chop, but it's on its last legs with 4 turns of Hail left. Baneful Bunker is going to give it one more turn, stall a little Hail, and put now some nice Poison Chip on the Beartic. Samantha goes for the double Protect, but doesn't get it, and Toxapex goes down to Beartic, which will bring out Gengar again. Samantha goes for Focus Blast here, which hits and easily kills, but is going to reveal the Scarf in the process. Dragapult comes in, and with the Scarf revealed, it knows it gets a free turn. Shadow Ball, I think, might have been the better move here. It turns out it was a more favorable roll to KO than hitting the raw Focus Blast, and, you know, it wouldn't give Dragapult a free turn, but maybe Samantha was just concerned that Beartic had more bulk and would be able to take that Shadow Ball a bit easier. Free turn, and the safe Hex is going to come out from the Dragapult here, which will KO the Celesteela that switched in for Gengar. Now Lycanroc's going to come out to avenge it. Although Gengar looks like a free win here. If Dragapult had Sucker Punch, it would actually KO Gengar from where it's at, even with Min Attack. Lycanroc Sucker Punch is still likely to KO here and doesn't risk Gengar, whose Shadow Ball could be key to cleaning up the match. Samantha does go for the Sucker Punch and hits the 56.3% chance to OHKO, taking down the Dragapult and bringing in Registeel. Sucker Punch does decent damage, but Seismic Toss does half of Lycanroc's remaining HP. Sucker Punch fails this turn as Registeel Toxics the Lycanroc to passively kill the Bandedmon. And Registeel is going to be put on PETA's list here as it just stands there watching Lycanroc slowly die to poison. But Samantha won't watch the poor dog waste away, and she brings out Gengar, which actually can't be touched by Registeel at all. And, well, that's actually going to be the game here, folks, as Registeel begins a valiant attempt to P-stall Gengar out of Shadow Balls, but Shadow Ball will eventually close out the game here. Dashdude, knowing Registeel couldn't touch Gengar, should probably have just eaten the Sucker Punches and KO'd the Lycanroc while he could to shift the final differential a little, but honestly, Samantha shouldn't have given him the chance in the first place as Registeel's full set had been revealed by then. Still, absolutely excellent play by both coaches. Dashdude made some excellent predictions that really hammered Samantha's reliable defensive pieces, but Samantha's planning for this match was just perfect. She called the Slush Rush and brought exactly the plan to beat it. Once those rocks were up, turn 1, she was always in a good position even if it didn't look that way. Almost everyone on the Troopers team here played a key role somewhere in this match, but, you know, with 4 KOs to its name at the end of the match, and the Scarfing moves to solve any problem they encountered, I've really got to give the MVP of this match to the Gengar. Well, that will be it for the Week 3 feature match. Big thanks to the coaches for the great battle and to all of you for watching. Finally beat Steve, Chuck, and Illogic to the punch this week, so make sure to give the Week 3 power rankings a view on this channel when they do come out. And check out the description for links to the channels of some of the WCL coaches as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for another feature match.